Hi everyone, I'm back this week and we're going to continue talking about color and look at artist Sarah Morris. And I brought a slideshow to share her work with you. Today we're going to continue talking about the primary and secondary and tertiary colors that we reviewed last week. You can see them here in the different color wheels. I brought British American artist Sarah Morris to look at these colors and how you can use them together. Here's a piece Sarah Morris did in 2012 called Big Ben. And this was based on Big Ben, the clock tower for the Houses of Parliament. And you can see that here. You can see how it is inspired by the shapes you see in Big Ben and in the architecture around London, in the buildings behind there. And you see circles and triangles and those sort of arrow shapes that she uses a lot here. But what really strikes me in these pieces is the color. You notice that this is the same design, but the left and the right are different colors, and it makes it look totally different. Colors have feeling and they portray things, and Sarah Morris works on the things she sees in the cities she visits and also what she feels in the general sort of politics and advertising, and everything about an area comes together in one of her pieces about that area, not just the visual and obvious sort of shapes that we just looked at. So she did this piece, and it was used for the Paralympics and Olympics in 2012 as a poster. But it was also then installed in the London Underground in a tube station. And when you're coming in on the train, you see them coming, and as you're leaving, you see them leaving, and there's a total of 18 of these in the station, all done in different colors and different combinations of the colors. And you can really see how the color affects each piece. So here's a little plan of all 18 of them that you can see when you're on the train. They're all installed there. It's kind of amazing. Here's some work she did based on Rio in the city there, and this one is called Total Lunar Eclipse. So you can see the shapes, which suggest the shapes of a lunar eclipse, and also some of the colors. But then she's also got these colors suggestive of the city itself. And she's used mostly secondary colors in here, some primary colors, but she's got a lot of variants of greens and oranges and some blues, which would be a primary color, repeated, and it makes a really interesting composition. It's another piece based on her experiences in Rio. And this one is all analogous colors. Analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So greens and blues and yellows are all sort of in the same area, and they're harmonious. They go together nicely. You know, they make you feel sort of calm when you look at them. If you use colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel or further apart, they sort of set each other apart. In this piece, you see that the red and the yellow really pop. It's not a calming sort of smoothing together effect. It's more of a exciting piece here. And you can see how she's repeated the colors, like the yellow moves around the piece and moves your eye around, but this interesting green line sort of brings it all together. And she's got some really nice shapes in here too, some curvy soft lines and then some sharp hard lines that make up squares and rectangles. And all her lines go off the page too, which is interesting. So we've looked at Sarah Morris's work, and she's an artist that's working now. And what we'd like to do is work on a piece that's a geometric abstract piece. So we're going to use shapes and lines and colors, much like she does. And I'd like you to think of something that you might want to represent, or you can just do a collection of lines and shapes and colors. I worked on something, I thought about Alameda and looked out the window here, and there's a lemon tree there, and that something I always think about with Alameda. So I did a piece based on the lemons and the lemon tree in Alameda. It's sort of a feeling I have and a distribution of the circles and the colors that say Alameda to me. Now I used analogous colors, colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. But like we looked at, you could also use colors that are opposite and make each other pop. Like if I included some red right here, that would really stand out. And then if I put some up here too, your eye would go red, red, red all over the place. And it would be really interesting that way too. So the choice is yours. Here's an example of the color wheel and analogous colors. So these all together here that go together are analogous. Complementary colors, the red here and this blue, they complement each other. They're going to make each other pop. So whenever you look at something opposite each other, the yellow to the purple, those are complementary colors, and they're going to really pop each other out. But if you do a piece with just these colors, it's going to be soothing and there won't be any jarring, but if you do these and then add, say, a green, that green is really going to draw the eye and stand out. So I want you to pick some combination of colors. It can be analogous, it can be a whole bunch of complements, whatever you want, but pick a subset of, 6 or 8 colors and work with just those in your piece. You need a piece of paper, a ruler, something to make shapes with. I traced shapes using little round things. Something to color with. I used all these colors to do that. And that's about it. So it's up to you how you want to do this. Try to make your lines go all the way off the paper so you have a nice place to really complete those shapes. But it's really up to you and how you want to view it. And I can't wait to see what you make.